So hello and welcome back to the DevOps with us channel. I'm Prashant Goel and today we are going to solve AWS Cloud task, which is create key pair on the Code Cloud platform, right? So I would like to first ask that have you ever launched an EC2 instance in AWS but got stuck at the login step with the permission denied errors, even when everything looked correct? So most of the time, the real issue is something very small but very important, and that is the key pair. And today, in day one of 100 days of AWS Cloud journey, we are going to understand this so clearly that you will never get confused about it again. So this is day one, and we are creating and we are starting with the one of the most important foundations in AWS, because before you launch any EC2 instance, before you automate anything, before you even connect to a server, the one thing that controls your access is the key pair. Now, instead of thinking of a key pair as just a file that AWS gives you, try to understand it as your identity when you connect to a remote machine. Because when working with the Linux servers in AWS, you don't log in using password. Instead, AWS uses SSH, which stands for secure shell, and it is simply a secure way to open a terminal session into another machine over the internet. But instead of password, it uses a cryptographic proof, which means mathematical verifications on that you are the real owner, right? So this is where the key pair comes in, and a key pair always has two parts. One is the private key and the other is the public key. Both are created together and are mathematically linked, but you cannot generate one from the other. The private key stays with you and which must never be shared with others, while the public key is stored by the AWS. And when you launch an EC2 instance, AWS automatically places the public key inside the server. Now, when you try to connect using SSH, your system proves that it owns the private key that matches the public key which is inside that server. And if that proof matches, access is granted. Otherwise, it will be denied. And this is why this step is very important, because AWS never stores your private key, which means even AWS cannot log into your server. But if you lose your private key, you lose access completely, right? So today we are going to create a key pair named Nautilus key pair KP and the region US East 1, which is the North Virginia region. And one important thing about to understand is that AWS resources are region specific, which means if you create something in region 1, and so that will not be exist in another region. So now first let's create the key pair using the AWS console. So log into the AWS console, uh, mm, click on this link URL, then log in with the given username and password, right? First, be sure about which region you are in, which is here already selected US East 1, which is the North Virginia region, right? So now search for EC2 service, navigate to its console dashboard. Now search for the network and security section and navigate to the key pairs section, right? Now here click on the create key pair and name it exactly as given in the instructions, Nautilus KP, right? So name your key and select the key pair type, which is just an algorithm. Here RSA is algorithm used to generate secure keys, and choose PEM format. If you are using Linux or Mac OS or PowerShell, because it is standard format which is used by the OpenSSH. Okay, now just click on the create key pair button so your keys will be created. So now when you click on create, AWS generates both of the keys, shows the public key internally and gives you the private key as a download. and this is the only time you will get it. So store it safely, right? Now let's do the same thing using CLI, because this is how the real DevOps workflow happen. So first, configure your CLI using the AWS configure command. It will be already configured. Just to check, just execute, just enter, hit enter, hit enter, and enter, right? It is already configured, so we are not required to configure it again, right? Now here you have to provide access key and all of the things, right? So then run this the second command, which is used to create key pair. So write AWS EC2 create key pair, because we are creating a key pair. Now name it Nautilus KP and select the means specify the type of the key, means the algorithm, right, which is RSA. So here the same steps are done as suggested in the UI console, right? Here you can see the same steps we are following in the command line also. Now you have to specify the query, which is key material. Specify query key material, because we are creating key. And now specify the output, which will be in the text format and which will be redirected to the PEM file. Now internally this command calls the AWS API, which is the backend service interface, and AWS generates the key pair, stores the public key, and returns the private key. And we extract only the key material and save it using the redirection, right? So now if you do list out, the key will be available over here, right? So now once you have the file, you must secure it, because the SSS will reject it if permissions are open. So run this command to set the permission for the nautilus.kp.pem file, right? So we are going to give permissions read only to the owner, and no permissions to other users, group or other users, right? So 400 are going to the permission, right? So this ensures that only you can read this file. So to verify the key exists in the AWS, you have to run the another command, which is describe key pairs. So run AWS EC2 describe key pairs, and then you have to specify the name of the key which you want to check the details, right? Basically, so this shows the details including the fingerprint, which is a unique hash representing the key. So you can also list out all the key pairs or delete them if needed, but remember, deleting from AWS does not delete your local file, and any instance using it may become inaccessible. So overall, what you should understand is that a key pair is not just a file, it is a trust relationship between your machine and your server. AWS stores only the public key, your private key is your responsibility, and everything you do later depends on this foundation. So, this was all about day one. Now we have built the foundations of secure access in AWS, right? So, right, and in the next video, we are going to explore about security group, and we are going to create a security group in the AWS, which is the next task in this code cloud platform, right? So also, if you want all the hands-on solutions and practical tasks, I have shared everything on my GitHub repository, where you can find code cloud solutions and DevOps related content, right? I have included 100 days of DevOps, 100 days of cloud, Ansible, Docker, Git, Jenkins, Kubernetes, Linux, Terraform, etc., 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 right? So you can find all of the solutions over here, and in my repository, which its name is Code Cloud Solutions, right? So, and I will keep adding more as we progress in this journey, right? Along with that, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn, where I share updates, learning, progress, and real DevOps insights regularly. Also, going forward, I am also planning to create and share more videos consistently, so make sure you stay connected. If this helped you to understand the concept clearly, then do like the video, subscribe to the channel DevOps with us, and I will see you in the next day. Right? So thank you for watching.